Pronto, está sendo gravado. E ele conta com tradução simultânea, disponível nos idiomas português e inglês. Então, pelo computador, quem tiver pelo computador, clique em interpretação e selecione o idioma, né, naquele íconezinho do globo. E quem tiver pelo celular, a opção se encontra em mais ou interpretação de idiomas, tá? E aí vocês escolhem o idioma que vocês forem ouvir. Serão concedidos créditos de educação continuada em Resource Development, com emissão de certificado pela ICF Global. A solicitação do envio do certificado só será possível através do preenchimento do formulário no link que será compartilhado ao final do evento. E também, quem tiver perguntas para a palestrante, eu peço que coloque no chat, que ao final da apresentação ela vai tentar responder todas as que forem possíveis. Então, é isso, passadas as informações. De novo aqui, vou falar um pouco sobre a International Coaching Federation, que é a maior associação global independente de coaching, presente em mais de 100 países e com cerca de 44 mil associados ao redor do mundo. Antes de mais nada, eu queria agradecer aos nossos patrocinadores Ouro, Território Apana, Escola de Coaches Ecossocial, Profit Coach Treinamento e Erickson College. Tem também os patrocinadores Prata, Uzi Coach e a Global Coach Group. E também agradecer aos nossos associados, líderes e voluntários regionais, ao Conselho Deliberativo, a ICF Global, a nossa tradutora aqui, Paula Prates, a turma que está no apoio, José Roberto, a Gillian, Camila, e um agradecimento especial ao nosso comitê organizador, que colocou essa super semana de pé, com 17 eventos aqui no Brasil. A International Coaching Week é a maior celebração do coaching profissional do mundo, e nessa semana acontecerão cerca de 1000 eventos em mais de 20 idiomas. Nesse ano, o tema da ECW é Enfrentando Tempos Desafiadores. Foi um ano que testou nossa resiliência como líderes e colocou nossas habilidades como coaches profissionais em evidência, já que o mundo precisa dos coaches mais do que nunca. Enfim, estamos muito felizes em receber vocês hoje para o webinário Futuro do Coaching, conduzido pela Catherine Tanot. A Catherine é Master Coach pela ICF, especializada em coaching executivo de transformação organizacional, cofundadora da plataforma digital We Lead Grow, CEO da Variations International, reitora do Activision Coaching Training Program. Desde 2020, ela é a nossa presidente na ICF Professional Coaches. Ela já foi também presidente da ICF França. É atualmente diretora no board da Foundation pour l'Enfance e também diretora no board da Family Holding Company. Catherine é ainda professora de liderança na REC MBAs, escola número 1 de liderança e educação executiva na Europa, e coautora dos livros Coaching for Leaders, Art and Practice of Coaching and Situational Intelligence. Eu poderia ficar aqui horas falando sobre a trajetória profissional da Catherine, que tem uma bio incrível, mas eu prefiro passar a palavra para ela, para que ela possa compartilhar conosco todo o seu conhecimento. É com você, Catherine.
Muito obrigada. É grande prazer ficar com vocês todos hoje. I will speak English because my Portuguese is not at the level to do this presentation, but I like your language and your country very much. I just hope I can travel soon and go to see you in Brazil. So I will share my screen, and the topic of today is about the future of coaching and what is expecting us in this pandemic, post-pandemic, very challenging time. Before starting, I just want to share with you and express my gratitude for what you do in the coaching world, and also to express my solidarity. I know Brazil has been through tough times with the pandemic, so please receive my heartfelt thoughts for you and your families and your communities. It's okay with the translation? I can move and share my screen.
Yes.
So, okay, are you seeing the screen correctly? Okay, so let's start this presentation with a short snapshot of coaching today. In a nutshell, what is happening in our world. I will base a few considerations, these opening remarks, on the latest global coaching study done by ICF. That included a pre-pandemic, very extending, maybe the largest study on coaching industry ever, with 22,000 answers in more than 161 countries. And then ICF did a second post-pandemic last quarter of 2020 and first quarter of 2021 just finished to understand what was the effect of COVID and pandemic on our coaching world, with 10,000 answers. So if you are ready, we can go to what is happening in a very, very short view. Our industry is growing. We have around 90,000 professional coaches everywhere in the world. I think personal feeling, this is underestimated. ICF is now counting 42,000 members, out of which 35,000 are credential coaches. We are more than 140 chapters. The demand is increasing almost everywhere. On average, is increasing of 36% in the corporate world everywhere. And then we will see more detailed figures and maybe some on Latin America and Brazil, just to make sure we have the nuance of what is happening in your area. Coaching is now accepted not only as a remedial for tough situation, but mainly as a merit badge for future champions or current champions. And we are seeing the regular usage. So let's go to the first consideration about the growth. You can see some figures. I won't detail them. In a nutshell, coaching has been growing about 56% between 2011 and 2020. And especially in some countries, and if you can see that Latin America and Caribbean is one of the most important growth ever in the world. We have other places where coaching is growing very fast. Let's move to the kind of coaching modalities we are observing. And now we see coaching is a continuum, while 1/3 of the organization are using 3 coaching modalities, being external coaches, internal coaches, and also managers and leaders who are using coaching skills in their leadership function. The third finding from this coaching study is the acceptance, the demand, the increasing demand from corporate world. The fact that 1 manager out of 2 has been coached or is expected to be, that's an average. That's not true everywhere, but that's a kind of trend, was not that 5 years ago. And interestingly, and we will see in the trend that 75% of the millennials that have been asked, they are expecting to receive coaching in the first 10 years of their career to grow and to progress. Coaching really being seen as a progression modality, playing a role in career paths in organization. And we'll see that that's not only. Interesting also is the shift between life coaching and business coaching. That's a clear shift between the first study. ICF has conducted first study in 2011 and in 2016 and now in 2020. And this shift is confirmed very strongly. And still a potential growth in Latin America. We are seeing that business coaching is around 70% in Western Europe, in Asia, and is only 56 in Latin America and Caribbean. So maybe still a potential to grow, meaning business coaching, meaning leadership development, management coaching, including also collective coaching, team coaching, and also organizational coaching, for example, coaching for change. We will come back on that when we'll tackle the trends. A few other considerations to start with. Coaching is now recognized as a true profession, 62% over everywhere. I do think the percentage is a bit lower in Brazil. And what is even higher is the fact that coaching should be self-regulated by professional body and should be a profession that needs some kind of regulation, hopefully with professional bodies such as federations, associations, any recognition locally. I know that Brazil, as France, and as other country has been through a major challenge with the recognition and the eventually regulation. We can talk about that in the question and answer section if you want. Another consideration, yes, that was the demand for regulation, particularly high in Latin America. We are seeing this as a trend everywhere. People want ethic and professionalism and are really demanding for coaching being included in HR profession. In France, for example, they have just recognized this. The Ministry of Labor just recognized coaching as an HR profession with a specific code for coaching. And that's the case in other European countries. A few other considerations before going to the future. The main threat is the market confusion, market dilution, and that's a major concern for us as coaches, for us as an association, for us as people, because we have two major threats there. One is untrained individuals, call them coaches, that consider us at almost 50% of the people of the one threat. That could be also people that have unethical behavior, or they have done like 3 days coaching, kind of coaching training, and they call them professional coach. The second one is still a market confusion about coaching. What does it mean? Coaching is confused with training, with mentoring, with counseling, with any kind of profession. And still this confusion is persistent, even though we have been trying to explain, to deploy pedagogy, we are still seeing this marketplace confusion as a big threat. Last but not least, we also have to deal now with the effect of COVID-19. The first result of the survey conducted by ICF was the reduce of income, the reduce of working hours, and also for many of the coaches, not any impact. We have also seen the demand, increasing demand for coaching for health profession, for coaching for well-being, for coaching for stress, for coaching contributing to the social change and needs. So we are not really sure about that. What would be the long-term effect of COVID? We still need to have that in mind when we will look to the future. So maybe I will stop here, the panorama of the current coaching industry, and with your permission, we can move to the future. Well, you know, the exercise of talking about the future is always like the crystal ball. We had idea, we anticipate trends, but at the end of the day, and we have seen that with the pandemic, we keep our humility. We don't really know what we are seeing, and what I want to share with you, that we are seeing some obstacles, but the good news is that you will see more opportunities than obstacles. Obstacles are still this market confusion that is expected to stay for a while. The second one is the pandemic effects I've just talked about, and we will come back. The uncertainty of the world, and the positive impact of coaching on social change is not an obstacle, but still doing coaching pro bono is not making a life for coaches. So we need to see how coaches can balance their engagement for pro bono coaching, coaching for social change, coaching for communities with paid assignment by corporate clients, companies, organizations. So let's go a bit deeper into this kind of data. So the market confusion is expected to stay. What do you believe to be the biggest obstacle for coaching over the next 12 months is seen as untrained individuals? And what is interesting, I get the data from Brazil, and thank you, Carol, for giving me the data for Brazil. And while globally on average is 49%, for Brazil it's 63%. This threat of untrained individuals, we call them coaches. So I imagine you have a specific market situation there and specific needs to address this as an issue. The second one, the market confusion about benefits of coaching, is still important also in Brazil, but almost similar to the average of global study. The other point is the point of the revenue. And I must say that as a board, as a chair of the board of ICF, with my board, we are really very much concerned about the revenue of the coaching profession. We really need to make sure that we have a strong business case for the coaches being able to live from their profession. And we've seen the opportunity to be a complement of other traditionally well-served professions, such as consulting, such as training, such as any kind of new methodology that are appearing. But still, we are seeing that the major threat and the challenge of revenue is one of the biggest challenge in the post-pandemic, and sometimes even during the pandemic situation. Obstacle for the profession, the trend for the future are confirming this. I will not come back. And obviously the possibility of a global recession and the long-term impact of pandemic on the richness, on the wealth of countries, of people, that the need of coaching is increasing, but the mean to buy coaching maybe not increase as much as the needs. So we have to keep that in mind in the future panorama of what is in front of us. Another interesting aspect is the contribution of coaching on social change. And we observe, and for sure the latest study we have been seeing in the post-pandemic world is that the world is needing self-care, wellness, care for others, care for the community, social change, purposeful organization with responsible leadership, better environment, from ecological point of view, from diversity and inclusion, from social justice point of view. So basically what we are seeing here in these figures provided by the last coaching study by ICF is that coaching can influence social change, which is a good news. I think all of us want to be useful, want to have a meaningful impact on the world, and the influence on social change is really very important. So that's the panorama of the challenges. I would say that social change is a challenge. Some obstacle challenges. What about the trends for the future from the side of opportunity? I'm a very optimistic person. So my tendency is to see more opportunities than threats. So I will dig into the opportunities and their implication for you as coaches. So we have this kind of opportunity. We are still seeing a lot of confidence in the coaching world. In the post-pandemic survey, coaches show themselves as highly confident, and we'll see the data. We are trying to build, and we have many positive data on coaching credibility, on coaching impact, on coaching ROE, return on expectation, as well as coaching on ROI, return on investment. I will mention a few words about ROE and ROI. We are seeing the growth in coaching in organization, and especially with collective coaching appearing and developing, with the team coaching as a high potential. Again, I will come back to that. I think that ICF is doing a fantastic job in providing new competencies in team coaching. We will tackle a bit the technology and the data and the artificial intelligence. What is coming from technology? Is it friend or foe? And last, about the opportunities, is also the social impact and sustainability as an opportunity. And finally, we will see how you can invest in yourself. So let's go to the confidence. That's really interesting. And if we look at the yellow and green, we have the rate of confidence. And I put the figure for Latin America on top. So 64 people that among the 10,000 that have been surveyed by ICF in the post-COVID survey said they are confident that the prospect, the future clients will be here, will come, and that the coaching will be stronger after pandemic. And I must say that I agree with that. 71% in Latin America. That's one of the biggest green bar. If we see the second graph, the bar is really highly big. So then you'll communicate with me if you agree with that. But overall, I think this confidence is interesting. I think the confidence is coming from two major things. The first is that we are all seeing a lot of needs around us, from individual, from any kind of profession, from teams. More than ever, we need effective teams. We need effective leaders. We have seen how important is it to have really good leaders that are caring, that are being compassionate about their people, about their teams, about their communities. And for sure, coaching has a major role to play in that. So for me, that the first reason is that we know that coaching can really bring a lot of wealth around us, a lot of benefits, if people really are asking and are aware of the coaching benefits and coaching potential impact. The second is also the willingness, and I'm meeting you, and I'm meeting many coaches around the world. I will be tonight with my friend from Texas, and tomorrow in Hungary and in Los Angeles, meeting people, and in the end of the week I will go to China. That's the magic of virtual. I've being in contact with many of you. I'm really touched by the generosity, by your willingness, really your willingness to have an impact, your willingness to be useful, your willingness to serve. And I do think that's really quite unique. I'm sure, obviously, all the health profession, we have seen how the people can be involved and really give their life to help others. But I do think coaches are among those professions that are really willing to help, to serve, and that are behaving as a servant leader for the future. So I share this confidence with you. Another point around the opportunity, and here we will need to do something. That's our responsibility, which is to demonstrate, to show, to make case, to make business case, to help our client to measure the impact of coaching, and really being aware of the return on investment, return on equity, return on experience, and return on expectation. So ROE is meaning return on expectation. So instead of measuring how I spent, how I get, is what I expect from coaching. And if you see, and I'm sure you have all the experience of the objective of your clients as much more valuable than the money they are putting on the table. Sometimes we have leaders that they are putting in the coaching their hope for the future, their hope for their company, their hope for their team. We have entrepreneurs that it makes life or death for their newly created startup. We have people that are really need to change themselves, to need to find new behavior, new ways of working, new ways of dealing with the world. So we know that the expectations are much higher than the expenditure. So we need to make our client shift from the vision of coaching as a cost versus coaching as a very fruitful investment. And before in the introduction, I was talking about the coaching and the other profession, such as training, such as counseling, consulting. If we think of the money that our clients are spending on consulting, when we know that often, and I'm an ex from a big five in the consulting world, so I know how it works. Sometimes the money spent there results in hundreds and hundreds pages of slides, and that have never been implemented. So we know that thanks to coaching, sometimes the money invested with consultant can also return not only on investment, but also on expectation. So I do think here, that's one of the main challenge. It's one of the biggest opportunity, but also one of the main challenge for coaches to explain and to make this fruitful business case, to explain the benefits and the return on expectation. What we know also that the organization that are expanding their coaching modality in the next 5 years, and many of them are expecting to do so, will get very interesting performance in terms of growing engagement of people, seeing even the team working better, the team effectiveness being better, and therefore the overall results and sustainability for company. So we have data, we have potentially a strong business case to show that coaching can really be effective and powerful. So that's the same. I already talked about that. Let's talk a bit about the market relevance and the evidence-based results we can have. This is coming not from the global coaching study. This is coming from a previous study that has been done with HCI, Human Capital Institute, about coaching in organization, and especially about coaching culture. What are the benefits of coaching culture? Among high-performing organizations, what we have seen that the coaching culture creates an environment where we have high performers that are attracted and want to work. So that's a way to attract talent. And we know that in the upcoming years, one of the future challenges will be the talent war. We know that the pandemic has brought a lot of digital, a lot of teleworking, and basically the world is completely flat. You can work from Brazil in Asia, from Asia in Europe, from Europe in America. You have no frontier anymore while working distantly, as we do today. And for sure, coaching is a way to attract talent. Second, a coaching culture is really helping shareholder value. That's interesting because I do think that shareholder till now were not very much concerned about coaching. And I'm seeing in entrepreneur world to have many investors, investment funds, hedge funds that are really looking at what is leadership doing. Do they have coaching? Do they have a coach? Are they implementing coaching practice to help people grow, to help people deliver better results, to help team have better teamwork, to help different departments work more transversally? So I'm seeing that the financial world also is looking at our coaching world as a modality that bring value. Obviously, that is linked to the productivity. What we can say that strong coaching culture that has been observed are more than twice as likely to be high performing organizations. And where engagement is double than in other kind of organization. And we know that employee engagement, and we have seen that during the pandemic, is one of the key. And especially I've seen the last United Nations report saying that many organizations now are also concerned not only with engagement, but also with well-being of their employee. This will be a future trend in our world too. Let's move to team coaching and collective coaching. It is one of the biggest potential of growth. Now, team leaders are already representing more than 50% of the clients. But for now, team leaders are working as individual leaders, individual with individual coaching, and they tend to work on their own leadership. So now some of them already, maybe half of them, did realize that they could have a coach also for their team. And the coach, as in sport, any team in football or any other sport, no team is supposed to train alone without a coach. So I do think that in 2016, only less than 10% of the coaching assignment were for collective teams. And we are seeing this as a major area for growth in the future. Again, the good news is that now we have an excellent referential for team coaching competencies that is much larger than team coaching. That is also tackling team facilitation, team building, team training, team workshop, team seminars, team change management process, and so on. Let me see that only 14% of the clients in Latin America are now at the current results. So 10 was in 2016. And now in Latin America, we are seeing that I was quite surprised by this figure. That's the reason I put this on the screen. 14% of the clients are team or collective clients. So maybe you're already advanced with the collective coaching. Let's see that. Two other considerations. So I've already said that team coaching was the major opportunity. Let me talk a bit about technology. We are seeing that during pandemic, actually, coaches has to adapt to new challenges. And obviously, we all have moved from in-person coaching to internet, telephone, platform, whatever, any kind of distance method to be able to contact our client. Mainly individual coaching have taken place distantly, but also team coaching or group coaching. That was interesting to see the effectiveness of having, and it happens to me with one of my clients, had a seminar that was planned in April last year, and with around 25 of international leaders of a big corporation. And we decided to move it on Zoom platform. And actually it works, not only it works well, but it was even more effective. The only thing we miss is as today is the hugs, is the kiss, is the wine together, is the food together, is this social link that we love. So the humanity that made us also happy to be with other people. But in terms of working effectiveness, it was quite effective. So I do believe that on the longer run, we will have a mix of method, and technology could be a friend if we know how to master it. So 71% globally are thinking that coaches need to invest in technology, to invest more in technology. Some of us has already done it, and it's even more in Latin America and Caribbean with 78%. What does it mean investing in technology? What are we seeing? And that might be related to the fact that we need to have a business case for coaching. The technology and the appearance of new tools using data, using better the data we gather with the respect of the privacy and the confidentiality. So that we have to be very careful about the use of data, and especially the big data and maybe some artificial intelligence algorithm that can bring us to help our client to measure what he's expecting when he starts the coaching with us and what he gets at the end when he finishes with some maybe more tangible data. The last but not least thing I wanted to share with you is talking about the democratization of coaching. It is a good news. It is a bit like social change and coaching bring value to the society, and that's the mission and vision of ICF. So I can really, I'm really with that coaching will help to build a thriving society. We just have to know that this is an opportunity, but it's also a threat. As we may see coaching decrease price per hour because of the democratization of coaching. So the reason why we need to be quite inventive and creative in maybe getting better together, in creating community of coaches through new technology, not to be disrupted by low cost entering into the market. But that's a good news, because it also means that coaching can contribute to build a better society. And that was before concluding this part and giving the floor to the question, I want to say that we know that coaching can touch live. And I will give the example of ICF foundations. I know you had some projects in your country with the foundation, with the Ignite project. And I think in the last 3 years, they have been touching more than 10 million lives, which is really impressive. And again, we need maybe to tell more about that, to make it as a case of how coaching can bring impact on our communities, our societies. And to conclude, I do think coaching can be an actor, play a role for a better world. We are seeing a request for purposeful and responsible working environment in companies, purposeful leadership, responsibility, social, ecologic, responsible behaviors. We have talked about coaching for social change. We are seeing this increasing demand for coaching for self-care and well-being. And last but not least, which is one of the priority for ICF, coaching for what we call diversity, equity, social justice, and inclusion. So in the last minute, what about you? How to capture the opportunities? How to overcome the obstacles? Well, I would say that it's maybe starting with an extending vision of coaching to be able to answer the variety of needs. Coaching, the definition, I put the definition because I think this definition is always very inspiring for me. Partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I think this definition of coaching is still alive and will be vibrant for the next years. But what we had in the past and currently, that what coaching is not. It's not consulting, it's not mentoring, it's not counseling, it's not therapy, it's not training, and definitively it's not that. However, coaching could actually incorporate some elements of other support profession to be a wider territory. For example, as coaching is highly adaptable to individuals, to teams, to organizations, to community, we can complement, we can work together, we can partner with consultants, we can partner with mentors, we can partner with therapists, we can partner with training. Coaching has been proved as being a very impactful and accelerating consulting project, change management project, lean, agile methodology, training program, leadership development. Coaching is an accelerator of all this. So that's our first challenge, is having this extending vision of our profession. And the other one, my last but not least finding, and I will conclude with that, is invest in yourself, because you are the one that could do what you can do for you, for your profession, and for your environment. First of all, walk the talk with a strong ethics. Second, explain coaching. Anytime you have the occasion, explain what coaching is, what is not. Explain the competencies. Explain the learning paths you have been through. Explain the professionalism of your training. Explain. Speak up. Don't stay silent. Third, reinforce the core competency too. Number two, I love this one, the coaching mindset. More you will have this coaching mindset in everything you are doing, even when you are doing training, even if you are doing consulting. We all know that we are all doing a mix of profession, coaching with training, coaching with consulting, coaching with HR, coaching with whatever. Four, create your own business case, measuring ROA, return on expectation, not only ROE, and explaining to client. Communicate about coaching impact and credibility. Develop your skills in team coaching and facilitation. Expand your own territory. Invest in technology. It will be a friend. If you don't master it, it will master you. Engage in pro bono coaching for social impact. Make your client, the rich one, pay for the pro bono engagement you have on the other hand. And develop self-care and wellness habits for yourself. And last but not least, it's what you are doing today. We are doing together. Connect with your community, your local community, your social community, your ICF community, your chapter, the worldwide community, and care and take care. Thank you.
Obrigada, Caterine. Eu vou pedir aqui, quem tiver dúvidas, quem tiver perguntas para a Caterine, coloca no chat e a gente vai passar para ela responder. Eu vou ler a pergunta para ela em português. A gente tem uma primeira pergunta do Flávio. Caterine, ele gostaria de saber mais sobre coaching e a inteligência artificial.
Obrigada pela question. Thank you for the question. Not an easy one. We had a webinar last week about this AI and coaching, AI and future of work, AI and HR professions. Let me just have a first remark. When we talk about AI, we talk about data, and data science is a new science. We know all that there's people exist called data scientists. What they are doing, they are building algorithms with data. So the point is that currently there is no AI, and there will not be for the next 25 years, if I believe the experts, because I'm not an expert. So please accept with humility, my thought on this as a non-expert. We won't have an AI able to identify being emotionally intelligent before 25 and maybe more years. But what we have still now, and what we will have in the next years, is an AI that is being able to gather data, and with this data, providing information and providing us some decision-making help, support. So whether we want to use that or not, it's up to us. But I would recommend we explore this. We explore how this can bring more value to our coaching, how the fact that we can gather data better we used to do, and we start doing that with our clients in total confidentiality of the coaching process, to make sure that we can observe the result, we can observe the impact, not only the satisfaction afterwards. We know how to measure the satisfaction, but what can bring data is a larger vision of all this data aggregated together that could be really very meaningful if we gather the impact of coaching. So maybe tomorrow, I don't know when tomorrow is, maybe it is 1 year, maybe it's 5 years, I don't know. We will be able to gather enough data on coaching thanks to powerful algorithm and ethical ones, which is really important, that will help us to demonstrate the power of coaching. So that's my wish. Not sure it will be possible, but I wish it will be.
Ótimo, obrigada, Caterine. Seguindo aqui a ordem das perguntas, se você podia falar um pouco mais sobre subscription. Espera só um pouquinho que desceu aqui. Tá. Subscription models in coaching.
A subscription, can you be more precise? What do you mean? Like buying bunch of hours? What does it mean?
Flávio, você quer mais explicações? Se o Flávio puder colocar aqui no chat o que ele quer, e aí eu passo para a próxima pergunta enquanto o Flávio traz mais informações sobre a pergunta dele. Eu vou passar para uma próxima pergunta, tá, da Carla Zana. Qual a forma mais eficiente para falar sobre coaching, considerando esse cenário de ampliação da atuação em consultoria, mentoria, terapia?
Yeah, I do think we need to be back to the basics. For example, being able to explain what is coaching, what is not, the difference with the other professions such as therapy, consulting, advisory, and also the complement, how coaching can complement this profession, and what is different in coaching, what is unique in coaching, the fact that you are empowering the other, either an individual or a team, that you are making enablement of the coaching is really what organizations are looking for, because we are seeing that facing uncertainty, facing complexity, you need to have empowered people working in the same direction, and coaching can help this empowerment either for individuals, team, and also organizations. That would be my answer to this, and many other things about ethics, professionalism, training, benefit of coaching, and so many things. But the basics are always good to remind to our clients and markets.
Ok, ótimo. Mais uma pergunta agora da Ana Almeida. Qual é a sua resposta para a pergunta: o que é coaching?
Frankly, my temptation is back to the coaching definition of ICF. I think the partnership with the client, whatever is a client, which means the strong trust and intimacy you are creating, this unique alliance, that is the basics of everything, that allow everything. That the first, the partnering with the client. The second is the full respect of the client power. Power is in the client, not in the coach, and the coach is an enabler. So for me, this enabling capacity, the capacity to unleash potential, to unleash creativity, to support the other in what he wants or what she wants, that the other things. And the third one I would add of being the accountability of the other, and the accountability of the coach on the process, to make sure that this result in impact, this result in something that is visible, tangible, and measurable for the client, either an individual or a team.
Ok, tem uma aqui da Gabriela Bergamo. Se você também poderia falar algo sobre uso da realidade virtual em coaching, diferente de inteligência artificial e Big Data.
Virtual reality, to be honest with you, I had a demonstration, and maybe some of you were in Prague in 2019 when we were able to travel. We had a demonstration of virtual reality in coaching. What I found interesting, it's still experiential, obviously, and experimental. What I found interesting there, that it was possible for the client to imagine different scenarios. For example, you are with a client that is elaborating a vision for a desired future in his next month, for example, changing job, changing career. And the fact that the virtual reality can help him to figure out different scenarios and make him or her touching these scenarios through a virtual reality, I think could be interesting, because sometimes we love our client dream, but is this dream really the dream you want? And maybe virtual reality will help us to do this visioning exercise. That's something I would love to try. And I didn't try it yet, but why not?
Tá ótimo. Olha aqui, eu vou fazer mais duas perguntinhas, porque a gente já vai dando tempo. Caterine, você tem algo a falar sobre as plataformas de coaching?
Yes, we are seeing many platforms emerging in the coaching area, and that's not astonishing because of the opportunities. We have seen that we are a growing profession, and that's quite unique. I think we are still a profession not really very organized. Many of the coaches are self-employed or single solo entrepreneur, or maybe 2 or 3 small structure. So basically, platforms are entering in this market with expecting growth and expecting income. with a good intention of business, which is normal. As a profession and being in my hat of not in my hat of coach, in my hat of ICF, I do think we need to be very careful on three things about the platform. First is that they are valuing coaching, meaning that the value of coaching has to be enhanced, has to be explained, and has to be really underlined. So I'm completely paying attention, big attention to the platform that may put the price down, because I do think coaching has a big value. And so the platform needs to not to put the price down, but on the contrary, to sustain the coaching value. Second, they need to respect the coaching profession standard and ethics. And that will be, that is the most important part of observation from ICF, to make sure that platforms are behaving and bringing professional coaching and ethical coaching to the market. And third, I do think that might be an opportunity to test the data gathering, because it's true that the investment in technology is quite a barrier for us. If you are a solo entrepreneur, it is a big cost. So maybe you need to gather with either you gather with some other coach and you create your own one, but why don't experiment those that are existing? So opportunity and being aware of a few obstacles on the platform world.
Olha, pessoal, desculpa, eu achei que dava tempo de fazer mais uma, mas a gente está chegando aqui no horário, então eu queria agradecer, Caterine, muito obrigada pela sua presença aqui, obrigada por dividir conosco aí todo o seu conhecimento, e obrigada também a todos que participaram. Para vocês garantirem seu certificado de participação, devem preencher o formulário que está sendo colocado agora no chat, tá bom? Também acesse o Instagram da ICF Brasil, que é @icf.brasil, e se inscreva nos eventos da semana. A gente ainda tem mais 16 eventos essa semana. Hoje vamos ter mais 3 eventos ainda. O próximo acontece agora, às 11 horas, enfrentando tempos desafiadores, com a palestrante internacional Susan Andrews. E a gente espera vocês lá. Muito obrigada pela participação de todos. E, Caterine, de novo aqui, obrigada ao comitê também, que botou tudo isso de pé, tá bom? Gente, obrigada. E aí, seguimos para os próximos. Um abraço.
Bye.
Um abraço, Caterine. Tchau. Bye, bye.
All the best. Bye.
Obrigada. Thank you.
Tchau, tchau.
Alguém está aqui compartilhando um link?
Olá,
Sim.
Cândida, eu estou tentando achar o link aqui, desculpe, porque você falou...
Acabei de colocar de novo aqui.
Ele está no
Vitor.
chat. Ah, você colocou de novo? Tá.
Coloquei de novo agora.